I'm Tara Schwartz, and this is Health Matters on CJAD 800. It's hard to put into words the tremendous gratitude we have for our next guest. Norman Steinberg has been involved with the MUHC since 2008. He has been chair of the MUHC Foundation's board of directors since 2018, and his tenure as chair has come to an end. Norman's impact on the MUHC Foundation and the hospital is enormous, and he joins me now. Hello, Norman.
Hi, Tara. My God, thank you for that wonderful introduction.
I mean it. I mean it, Norman. It has been such a pleasure and a privilege to watch you at the helm over the last couple of years. And I know I'm going to miss you. I know I'm going to miss you. What will you miss about being part of the MUHC Foundation's board of directors?
Well, as you say, my history goes back about 16, 17 years. I had the privilege of working on the Best for Life campaign that managed to raise $300 million so that the Quebec government would then authorize construction of our great hospital. So it's been a wonderful run. I've been involved from the beginning with the construction of the hospital, visiting it under construction, seeing the fantastic results, and now working with our team, of which you were part of, to raise money for world-class research and development. So it's been wonderful, and quite frankly, I'll remain involved with the hospital foundation even as I move on and leave my successor, Mark Tellier, a great person, in place.
It's amazing when you put it in perspective that way, to say like you were involved at the beginning, raising a massive amount of money to build the Glen Hospital, watched it get built, saw it get staffed. Now we're raising $200 million for incredible research. That must be an incredible legacy to look back on. Like, are you proud of yourself? You should be, Norman. Are you proud of what you've accomplished?
Well, absolutely. As I've discussed on your program before, it wasn't just about building a world-class hospital. It was building a eco-center that would attract the top talent to Montreal, doctors, researchers, and they, in turn, many of them start startup companies in the healthcare sector and attract other investment. So Montreal has become, in large part due to what we've done together, one of the world's great centers in healthcare. The Research Institute at our hospital is the second or third most important connected to a hospital in Canada. So it all feels very good, and there's a lot of collateral benefits to building this great hospital and research institute.
We're speaking with Norman Steinberg, and we're talking about his history of chair of the MUHC Foundation's board of directors, which has just come to an end. So Norman, 4 years as chair, you have accomplished a great deal. What do you see as something you have really left with the foundation in those 4 years that you've been a part of it?
Well, Tara, I would view it as building blocks. And by building blocks, what I mean is you start with the proposition that you need an extremely strong and diverse board. So I feel very proud that we have, in my view, the best or one of the best non-for-profit boards in the city. The board brings multiple talents, diversity. It includes many of our communities in Montreal. And with that in place, with Julie Kenville, my great friend and collaborator, we've built a great team, which is one of the best in the city, I would say the best. And from that, we've created a great campaign cabinet for the $200 million campaign that you were talking about. And, that campaign is led by three great Montrealers, Marc Parent, Susie Orr, and Jean Charest. And they, in turn, have created, their own team of volunteers and so forth. So those are all the building blocks, and I'm very proud that they've all worked together in a very synergistic kind of way, and I'm proud to leave it.
When you say that you're chair of the board of the MUHC Foundation, for those people who really don't understand what that means, perhaps give just a short explanation of what it is that you do and how your work matters, how it impacts.
Sure. Well, there's several aspects to it, Tara. One is as a board, you meet, about 4 or 5 times a year. When we have a board meeting, I work with Julie and you and other members of the team on an agenda to both keep it interesting, but also make strategic decisions about where we're going. Also, between board meetings, I have many calls with Julie, our CEO, about different issues. I've always felt it very important to bring new donors to the table. So Julie and I would meet very often, particularly before and after COVID, for breakfast or lunches with possible donors to bring them into into the fold. And then is to work with the different committees of the board. We have all kinds of committees that do different things, like involved in audit and donor allocation and so forth, and work with the committees to ensure that we're operating efficiently and in a way that our donors would be very proud of. So that's a little bit about the way I see the position.
Norman Steinberg is the outgoing chair of the MUHC Foundation. Norman, when we leave things, it's always a time to look back and reflect and think, what have I learned? Have you learned something from your time as chair at the MUHC Foundation?
Well, of course. I mean, I think all these are great learning experiences. One of the things I learned is how important this hospital and our foundation is both to the city and to Canada, and I would say internationally as well now, because the research that we're doing has a global impact. So it's been a great learning experience, and I've been involved in other, non-for-profits in Montreal. Each activity and each of my for-profit boards, each of them brings lots of lessons, and that's what I like, is learning from everything I do.
And you are far from somebody who enjoys being idle, Norman. I think I know a little bit about you to say that. So what do you plan to do now that you have a little bit more free time? I know you're still involved in multiple philanthropic endeavors, but what's going to take up this time now?
Well, right now I have what I would call a portfolio, Tara, of about 12 different positions. I'm very proud of the fact that I'm vice chair of BFL Canada, which is where my principal office is, and I work very closely with Barry Lorenzetti, who also has been a great supporter, both personally and through his foundation, of our foundation. I'm on 3 public company boards, Fier, Durrell, and ATCO. I work in private equity. I'm still involved with the Montreal Symphony and Women in Governance, and several other things. So I will continue to be very busy with all the things that I've been doing. Coincidentally, when it was announced that I was stepping down from the foundation, I received a call from my friends at Teneo, which is a global consulting company, asking if I would like to be a senior advisor. So in a sense, maybe that time replaces the time I was spending with Julie and you on the foundation.
You are in high demand, Norman. And what message, as we say goodbye and say thank you here on this radio show, what message do you have for our listeners about volunteering and philanthropy? Because it's been such a big part of your life for so long.
Well, I think what's very important, some people have, I think, a sense that, philanthropy is for wealthy people or something. Everybody in our community should be volunteering and be involved in philanthropy, whatever their position in life is. That we need everyone to help, whether it's the hospitals, the churches, the synagogues, whatever it is. We need everybody in our community to be involved in helping our community. And I think that's a very important message. It's not just about money. It's about spending the time and volunteering to help people where we can and what appeals to us. So that's my message.
Good one. Norman Steinberg is the outgoing chair of the MUHC Foundation Board of Directors. Thank you, Norman, for joining us on the show. Thank you for everything that you've done over the last 4 years, and I will definitely miss you.
Tara, thank you very much. And first of all, I appreciate being reinvited to your program, and we will stay in close touch, I promise you.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Thank you so much, Norman. Next